Why, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, or whenever it is that you're tuning in to today's show. My name is Jonathan Bengal, and I'm the host here of Naked Tax Talk, where we bear down to the naked truth about who you are personally, business, and of course, monetarily. Because what I know to be true is that when we improve upon the self, the business, which is a reflection of who you are, also improves. And the money, honey, which is a reflection of your business and who you are, also improves. And when you work with someone like myself, a business intuitive, tax certified tax planner, and a certified tax coach, and an IRS enrolled agent, we see the monies come down with regards to your taxes. I'm often asked, Jonathan, why do you have to show up on your show naked? Well, the truth of the matter is that this is the way in which we cultivate courage, but more importantly, it's the way in which I accept myself for who I am. I am told oftentimes that I have this amazing gift and this amazing power to really help and inspire other people. And I want to share tonight with you about the lesson that I have learned and I'm still continuing to learn, which is the power to listen and to tune in to what the universe is actually trying to tell you. It can be God, it could be spirit, it could be your higher sense of power. It's something that is greater than who we are. For those of you who've been watching the show, and for those of you who may not know, but I grew up extremely poor. So poor that oftentimes, right, we didn't know what we were going to be eating. We didn't know about the clothing we'd be putting on. My mother would run away from her landlords because she couldn't afford to pay rent time and time again. And when I would write into my journal, I would write about my daily life. And I would always write something very similar to what I'm going to say now, which is I know that every single one of us is capable of doing something more than what we allow ourselves to do. I was saying these things to myself ever since I was a young boy. It was the thing that would, pardon me while I adjust my hair. It was the one thing that I knew that would just keep pushing me forward, something for a greater purpose in this life. It's interesting because intuition is this very, very subtle and it's very soft. It's like a gentle breeze. It's like that little gut that maybe you have it, or all of us. It touches us and it moves us in different places. It lets us know that the decisions that we're making in our lives in the present moment is sending us into a higher purpose that every single one of us has to fulfill, especially when we're entrepreneurs. The thing about entrepreneurship is that you've got cats that jump into the trees, so one might pop out. But more importantly, what business ownership is really about, it's about helping others to end their suffering. How do we do that? Well, each and every single one of us was given a special gift that we can bring to the world, that we are bringing to the world. And in exchange, we're being compensated for that transformation that we're helping somebody else go through. How many of you have thought about that? Why do you want to sell this item? Why do you want to provide that service? Why do you want to build people's homes? Why do you want to transform property? Why do you want to do what you want to do as an entrepreneur? If we take but a moment and slow down our crazy monkey brains, is what Buddha calls it, the monkey brain, and we slow it down just to a little bit, we can finally get those answers. But part of it is using the mind of awareness. You see, the mind of awareness, exactly, deals with the dogs. The mind of awareness allows us to hear the chirping of the dogs and then go, interesting, why would the dogs bark in the middle of this talk? Well, the reason why they just barked is for my own intuition to let me know that what I'm sharing with you is true and correct. It's about being able to slow down time just a little bit so that we can be in the moment of our existence. You know, some of you saw me post on Facebook, but I came down with COVID despite being 100% vaccinated. And I was so ready to go gung ho, do this, do that, do this, do that, that I felt trapped and I felt like I was just into myself and I couldn't get out. But I realized is that if I just slow down, and as my friend Mika shared with me the other day, just enjoy the ride. Because by enjoying the ride, by being in the moment, we're able to listen to the subtleties of what universe is trying to tell us. When I was at an eWomen's Conference network last couple weeks ago now, I remember when I had arrived and I wrote down in my journal my intention for what I wanted to receive while I was there for 4 days. I wrote down for guidance by my Buddhas to help me to open up my heart so that I could receive, so that I could finally see and accept who I am for who I am in all of my glory and not so glorious moments. And when I was able to just slow down and think about each moment as they were happening to me, I was able to connect dots and eventually see how each of the dots were in alignment to send me to my next purpose. It's about looking around and asking yourself, okay, why did I just have this interaction? Why am I having this conversation right now? Or when you're talking to somebody and they're reflecting back what you're saying because they're confirming it in their own way, we're able to tune into that and go, yes, I'm on the right path. I was so excited that I forget what day it was. I think it was Wednesday. And I sat down at lunch and I had an amazing lunch with 4 really fantastic women. And they all sat with me and we just talked about life and spirituality and business and you name it. And the group just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, I was in the center of this, just talking like I am talking today. At first, I didn't quite understand what universe was trying to tell me, but I started getting little hints that, Jonathan, you are capable, just like you right now that are watching, you are capable of transforming and moving people's lives in a forwardly direction. And then I had another interesting dinner another night later with another amazing woman who shared with me something personal in her life. And as I sat there listening to her story, I received this download, this intuition that allowed me to help her. And I just simply shared the truth with her. In fact, I even told her, what I'm about to share with you, you're probably not going to like. But if you're open to hearing what I have to say, I will share it with you. To which, of course, she said yes. We talked about the importance of setting up a space for our loved ones so that they can feel like they can come and talk to us, our loved ones, because our loved ones don't want to lose us. So they do crazy shit, man. I'll tell you that right now. They do crazy ass shit, thinking that they're protecting the relationship when in fact they're causing a rift. But if we can tap into the mind of awareness, and then use the mind of mindfulness, we can actually look and shift the perspective, which is exactly what I did with this one person. I simply shared the truth, which is that when we open up a sacred space for our loved ones to feel safe and allow them to open up to us without judgment, without criticism, but coming from a place of pure love and pure harmony, then what happens is we see the two come together. Now, mind you, when I shared this, I thought nothing of it. Oh, okay, exactly. And so when I left, I went continue on my day. Around 1 o'clock in the morning or so, they came down to the bar because, that's what I'm doing. I'm just socializing with my people, right? And they came down and they hugged me and they cried and they shared some very powerful feedback with me. And they said, Jonathan, I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars to therapists, but just sitting with you in dinner, having this casual conversation, you completely changed my perspective. And I called up my husband, and now we're going to move towards the right direction for her and for them. I got chills because I was like, oh my goodness, is this really something that I know I'm supposed to do? And it was one of my own coaches, Sue Frederick, who actually shared with me back in 2019 that I would transform into something far greater than I could ever have imagined at that time. So I was listening to this, her feedback to me, and I was thinking about what is intuition? What is my purpose that I'm supposed to be driving forward? And I was trying to make the two dots, the two connections. But it didn't hit me quite just yet. It wasn't until I went to the end of this conference where I think it's Stephen Graham, I just say Oprah's boyfriend, and he shows up and he gives this amazing, powerful, out of this world talk about being your authentic self. And everything he was saying, I was writing in my journal and taking notes, and I was going, that's exactly what I say. That's exactly how I see life. That's exactly about everything, which is this: your life, your life's purpose is not constricted to just your home office. It's not just constricted to your business office. It's not just constricted to you. It is far greater than that. It is a global vision. That's what Graham said, that our vision is greater than our own selves, to paraphrase. And so at the end of all of this, he says, who's got a question? So, of course, I ran up to the microphone and I gave him a 3-minute commentary to his talk. But I told him the truth, like I told the whole entire audience. And that is that he spoke to me like I know he spoke to every single one in that room. He shared the same thoughts, which is when we accept ourselves in all of our glory and not so glorious moments, no one can stop us from fulfilling our life's purpose. I also made sure to do something really important, and that is to give acknowledgement where acknowledgement is deserved. And here I was, maybe just one of 5 men amongst a room of 450 women, all powerful entrepreneurs, sent here to help to uplift and free and mobilize and create new opportunities for those around them. I needed to give thanks in that moment, because the truth of the matter is that when I was growing up, my femininity, my effeminate self was not celebrated. I was bullied. I was tormented. I was told that I would amount to nothing. And I fought against that. And here it was, this conference, this place, this organization that was embracing me and my effeminate self. And when I dropped the mic, quote unquote, afterwards, people just kept coming up to me and acknowledging the fact that what I had said was powerful and that I should be a speaker. I am a speaker. And that more importantly, they helped me to see my own purpose, my real, true purpose. And that is to motivate and to inspire others, to share with you my life stories as they come unfolding for your purpose. You know, Sue Frederick told me that one of my greatest gifts is the ability to sit with somebody one-on-one and to help them to transform their lives into a better purpose. This happened to me with a woman named Chris, and her and I, we connected while we were at eWomen. And when we connected, the whole time we were there, we talked about different things, about deductions, like, for example, public speaking, if you can do that. And so needless to say, so we talked about these things. And she shared with me that she just felt like there was something else that maybe was holding her back. In my intuition, the subtle pushing, the subtle wind, the subtle gut turning in the center of the heart told me that I needed to show her my technique that I teach my students in my course, RapidTaxSavingsFormula.com, Rapid Tax Savings Formula, which is to introduce you, and I introduced her to her soul again. You see, we all know about our souls. We've been told this about our whole entire lives. We all have a soul. We all have energy. We're not just stuck here in this plane, in this dimension that we exist in. We exist beyond all of this. And so I took the time to let her say hello to herself and allow her to guide herself through the process. Because what I know to be true is that our intuition is right here, inside of your heart and my heart. It sits here and resides here and guides us along the way. You see, if intuition was this powerful force, because it is, but if it was overtly powerful is a better term for it, right? Like if it manifested itself as a pepper shaker, it was like, move to the left, right? Move to the right, right? If it did that, we probably would feel like we were prisoners, like we were being captured by something. And we would resist against that. I know better. In fact, there's a term for this, and we call it the ego. We call it the I. I resist. No, I know it better than you do. But the truth is that intuition knows this about us. God knows this about you, about us. Spirit knows this about us and for you. Energy knows this as well. It knows that if it lightly brushes against you, it knows that if it sets things in motion for you in a particular manner, and you tap into it, you can tap into the purpose that manifests itself into something greater. All we have to do is be like a container that is open to receiving, to allow us to transform our lives and to continue pushing us into our life's purpose. You know, I have to tell you that I was really depressed these last couple of days, maybe 3 days now. I was, and I say was because it's important. And I was feeling really down because, again, I caught COVID. I still have no real sense of smell or taste. Today I actually got to taste just a hint of garlic. I've been drinking garlic water, by the way, like crazy, boiling up cloves of garlic and drinking the hell out of it. And I know I'm keeping the vampires away. That is for damn sure. And I know I'm keeping everybody else away because I'm sure I smell like garlic right now. And I'm sure my breath reeks of like garlic, but I don't care. But while I was going through this, and as I'm still going through this, I got really depressed. And I realized like I lost that sense of joy that comes from eating and comes from smelling. And then I reminded myself of something very important, and I think this is true for all of us. If we never go through some of the difficulties that we have to go through in this life experience, then it's almost as if we are omitting ourselves from a whole other group of people and opportunities that await for us. Now, I'm not saying for you to go out there and get infected with COVID and take your mask off and, do all that craziness. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that if we look at it from the perspective of what is the lesson that I'm supposed to learn from this. And intuition has been telling me for about a week now, ever since I've been sick, that I need to tap into this and lean into this journey of this COVID experience. And now for me, I'm able to develop, like I know many of you can as well, develop the space, the heart of compassion for those out there that are sick, for those out there that are suffering from COVID, and for some out there that are suffering in greater ways and we can't even imagine. And yet I was graced with just a sample of it. I was given just a moment of it so that I could develop a heart of compassion, so that I could create a space of understanding. And intuition was telling me this the entire time. I have to tell you about how intuition's kind of funny. So I went to Galveston Island about a monthish now ago, to film a commercial for my program, RapidTaxSavingsFormula.com. And while I was there, I had parked the car, and I had gotten out of the car, and I got my stuff was in the back of the trunk, and my cousin was there, and my aunt was there, and we were all there. And I thought, okay, we're going to chill and relax on the beach and just enjoy, the cloudy weather and the humidity and the brown beach scenarios. Anyways, so I'm like, okay, perfect. So I take out my sarong. I take out this really cool fancy Hawaii shirt that my boyfriend actually got me from Hawaii, but anywho's blues. So I get all dressed up. And the backpack, it's almost like it's talking to me. And it's like, you probably should bring the backpack. But you see, up to about a few weeks ago, I had been ignoring my intuition. And so my intuition was loud. This one was loud. Take the backpack with you. You're going to need the backpack. But my dumbass was like, don't need it right now. I don't need anything extra, right? And so I left the backpack in the car and proceeded to go walk on the beach. Well, 2.5 miles later, because I don't know if you guys ever watched it walk a beach, but it seems like, I don't know if you guys know this, but it seemed like distance does not exist when you walk on a beach. Am I right? Like you get onto the beach, and the lighthouse seems like it's just a block away. But next thing you know it, you're like 2-3 miles down the road. So this happened. So here I am bringing all of my beach shit in my hands, carrying it all these 2.5 miles one way. And then we got to walk back a 2.5 mile route coming back, right? And of course, what do? We stop at some of the souvenir shops. And what do? I buy more shit to carry with my bare hands. And if I had just really acknowledged and accepted what intuition was telling me, which was to bring my backpack, I would have had a very comfortable experience. There have been times where, for example, I went over to see my boyfriend, and while I was there, intuition told me, oh, you should bring this book with you. And of course, I ignored it. I left it here. It's my journal that I write all the time in. I call them magic books. And when I got, of course, to my boyfriend's house, he was like, hey, so, where's your journal at? Tell me about what happened. And I'm like, oh, no, you won't believe this. I left my journal at my house. And I remember slapping the water in the pool, and I was saying to him, I'm not going to ignore my intuition anymore. I am done. I made an affirmative decision, a definitive decision that day that I was going to stop ignoring my intuition, that I was going to re in tune with my intuition. So how do we do that? Well, for me, it may not work for you, but it might work for you. What I like to do is I like to just shut my eyes. And I like to take a deep breath and then outward. And as I'm breathing inward, I am feeling the sensation of the coolness of the breath as it enters the nostrils to the back. And I'm ignoring thought, as in, did I leave the stove on? Did I tell my husband that I was going to be home today? I ignore all those thoughts. And I just listen and pay attention to that cooling sensation. Why? Because we can feel it. And then as I let go of the breath, I pay attention to the warmth as it exits. And I imagine for a moment that it's all my negativity that I'm letting go. It's all of my self-doubt that I'm letting go. It's everything I'm letting go of it with each breath. And then what this does is it lets me to tune in to the greater messages that I'm supposed to send out. It was Dr. Charlene who told me during soul surgery back in April of 2020. And she had said to me, Jonathan, you have no idea. Same thing, right? You have no idea how amazing and powerful you really are. If we just listen and slow down to intuition. Because it turns out that one of my gifts is that I'm just a messenger. I am a vessel that is utilized by a higher power to deliver a message for you. I learned a long time ago that we are just simply mere reflections of each other. Thank you to Julie Cotton, who pointed that out to me. That we are simply a mere reflection. Play around with that idea. When you smile, do you notice people smiling back and the feeling that comes with that? When you frown, get angry, right? Whatever it is, it comes back at us. So can you imagine that if we are trying to slow things down and listening and paying attention to intuition at all times, how we're projecting that out as a reflection, and then that's coming back to us. Intuition is always guiding us and telling us where to go. It knows where you need to go. I think it's Abraham Hicks who says it best. We just have to tune in, tap into it, and allow that vibration to vibrate. In many ways, she's talking about intuition. She is talking about the way in which we are showing up in the world and not being afraid to be who we are. Because I learned a long time ago that when we love ourselves in all of our glory and not so glorious moments, there are no words and there are no actions that can stop us from fulfilling our life's purpose. You know, intuition had been telling me also how to run my business. Intuition has told me to come back here to Naked Tax Talk Raw and to really own my own stage and to share with you all my nuggets of wisdom as they come to me. What I can share with you is intuition is letting me know that my show will never be the same ever again. Just like I know in your life, whatever it is that you're going through is not permanent. It is only appearing as if it's permanent. But it's not. It is moving from one to the next, to the next, to the next moment in your life. And it's a good thing. If we look back upon ourselves to our past, gosh, there's some things about my past I certainly wouldn't want to still be like today. We can use this technique to help us to understand that what we're going through in this moment will only last, but just in this moment. And I recognize I have to eat my own words because it's true. Understanding that nothing lasts forever, which should guide us even further into tuning in to our intuition so that we can become the creator of our universe. And I don't mean so that you could be like, oh, I want a Ferrari, and then like it's boom right there in your garage. And maybe that will come down the road. But my point is that we are the creator of our universe in the way in which we're showing up in our universe. 3 days ago, while taking a shower, I recognized I was feeling depressed. I sat down on the shower floor and was crying. And I had recognized it was because I was feeling depressed. I can't smell. I can't eat, which means I can't take joy in eating nicely yummy yummies like, homemade chocolate chip cookies that my husband always makes, or eating crumble cookies, or what else do I love to shove down my mouth? Well, a whole bunch of things, right? Like I could not enjoy all of that. And so when I slowed it down, and like my friend Mika said, enjoying the ride, I was able to tap into my intuition further. For my business, I'm here speaking to you. For my business, it's not letting go of all the things that I have done as a tax professional. I still love impacting and transforming entrepreneurs through the darkness of making money and shedding their taxes at the same time. I love that part because I still understand fundamentally, just like the IRS does, that our purpose is to make money, and a whole lot of it, while at the same time transforming the lives around us. But you see, here's the thing that I also picked up on, my intuition telling me this while I had dinner with my chapter of the eWomen Network. Now, if you're happy to be a member right now and you're watching this episode, I never shared this part out loud with you all, but I'm doing it right now. I realized something, that as an entrepreneur, if we sit in a chair with the mindset of hoarding things, mine, my possession, my money, my crafts, my knowledge, my this, my that, what it's doing is it's actually shrinking us. Remember, our potential is greater than we could ever imagine. And so I recognized that I was inside of that small-minded thinking. Mine, 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 mine. And then I realized something. If I can contribute to the success of my fellow entrepreneuresses by also contributing to their businesses directly, by looking at their businesses and asking myself, as the powerful CEO that I am, how can I utilize their services inside of my business? How can I turn what they are offering into a business-related deduction? This is what intuition has told me, and I now share it with you. With backing with the Internal Revenue Service, with the code itself, which states under Publication 545, that in order to deduct an expense inside of my business, which lowers my taxability downward as an entrepreneur, I must answer two questions. Is what I am being offered as a service, is it ordinary in the due course of business? Is it ordinary for you in your profession to invest in X, Y, and Z? In alignment, another way of putting it, it's in alignment with your business's purpose, which is really a reflection of your own self-purpose. If I can say yes, it's ordinary for me to hire visionary coaches. It's ordinary for me to hire business intuitives. It's ordinary for me to hire marketing specialists. It's ordinary for me, for my business, I should say, to hire payroll companies, to hire others to help me do my job, to hire the plumber, to hire anybody and everybody else for the benefit of making more money, to continue to live out my business's purpose and my life's purpose. If we can say yes to that dress, then we have one more question that needs to be answered. Is it necessary? Now, let's not be confused. We're not asking for the small mindset that says, can I really afford that? Do I really need that? Do I really need a pie for that? No. Necessary in the sense that must I invest my money in that service or product for a return on my investment, the ROI. If I spend money with another person or their services or their products, will it generate more money? Because remember, the reason why you're in business, as Uncle Sam also knows this to be true, it is to make mucho, mucho, mucho dinero. So if we can say yes, it is necessary for me to spend money on a visionary coach to tap into who I am so that I can step into the shoes of being a business intuitive, so that I can continue to raise my level and the level of others around me, including my clients, so that they can make more money and shed those taxes, baby. Then that is necessary because it's in the production of more money. If we want to help others, including our own selves, we must help those around us. But at the same time, we are asking this critical question: is it ordinary? And is it necessary? And if we're on point, then we may have a deduction. And so I sat there at dinner looking at all these amazing women, listening to them share what they just went through themselves in this experience, listening to the business services that they provide. And I started asking myself as my own CEO, how can I utilize each of their services in my business so that I can make more money? When we are willing to give, then there is nothing but abundance that comes our way. It's a very strange feeling, and it's not very intuitive, ironically enough, right? That the more that I give, the more that I receive. And this is why I really believe in this hand which carries wisdom. And this hand says here, is it ordinary and is it necessary? As a CEO, these are the questions you're asking yourself, and we're tuning in to our intuition to help to guide us. The stomach turns, you feel kind of about it. There's something kind of off about it. It's intuition letting you know that it's probably not a good fit. And the more that the ego, the more that the I tries to say, no, 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 let's keep pushing forward, let's keep working, you will regret it. I can promise you that. Just think as an entrepreneur. Exactly. How many times have you agreed to do a project? How many times have you agreed to do a task and you underbid yourself to close the deal? You gave a major discount when you knew you had rent coming up. I know so. I've done this. And then you get the job and it turns out to be a shitty situation. What happened? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. We let our guard down. We took the job out of desperation and we ignored our intuition and we let the ego and the I drive the ship. But if we just learn to slow it down, take a breath to center us, let it out, to let go of all the negative shit that comes with life, we could tune into intuition to guide us. I'm really thankful for you who are watching right now with me live. Thank you for sharing this moment with me and allowing me to deliver this message for you. For those of you who tuned in later, I appreciate you watching today's episode as well, because live was not meant for you in this moment, but it was meant for you to watch it under the pre-recording tense. I wish for you to be happy. I wish for you to be free from suffering. And I wish for you to never, ever be separated from your happiness. When you feel down, when you feel moments of desperation, when you feel moments of depression and self-deprecating thoughts, always remember that you are loved, that you are the most powerful person in this world. All we have to do is believe it. And if you're willing to go to the mirror right now and smile at yourself and say hello to yourself and connect with your soul. If you'd like to learn more about how I do this at a spiritual level with you, but also walk you through the business side of it, through how do we deduct things, through how do we protect ourselves for the right entity choice, for how do we actually separate ourselves from our business and tapping into the glory of who we were born to be, check out rapidtaxsavingsformula.com. And I'm sorry to do this, but I'm just so trained to do this. And that is that because of COVID, I've been unable to start the class and teach it live. And so by next week, I hope to start it up. So I'm going to actually leave the link here, rapidtaxsavingsformula.com. And I'm also going to put here in the chat as well a scholarship application. It's like legit $600 that you can apply towards the class. I've had over 20 students already go through my program, and every single one of them say the same thing. I never knew that we would focus on our spirit, on ourselves, in order to tap into the greatness of being a powerful CEO so that we can make better business decisions when it comes to our businesses. Again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate this opportunity. If you'd like to leave a comment, I would love it. I would love to hear from you. If you'd like to send me an email directly and have a chit chat, believe it or not, here's my email address. Let's get naked at nakedtaxtalk.com. And of course, if you would just like to talk at any time, at any moment, reach out to me, jonathanbangle.com, where you'll find another email address, another way to enter my world. Thank you. And may every single one of you have a fantastic evening, afternoon, or morning, or whenever it is that you've tuned in to today's episode. Until then, toodles noodles, and always remember why we became an entrepreneur. It was for mucho dinero. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Bangle. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure that you share and subscribe and let your friends know. Until then, may you have an amazing and a blessed day.